It's time. It's a Saturday night, okay? And while the rest of them are out there getting lit, spitting game, partying, I'm sitting right at home making these tier lists, okay? I'm gonna make it out the trap with these. Just finished my steak, eggs, and avocado off a wooden cutting board, and now it's time to ascend financially. That ad you just saw before you watched this video, part of that goes to me. So now that I've established myself as the credible top dog, you guys can trust my opinions I'm about to spit because I got some crazy takes here, okay? Listen, I've never done a direct part 2 of a video yet until now because I made my first video about overrated cars and it did blow up, but not even that much, like not compared to some of my other videos, but it's just there's so much to talk about and some of these cars get so much hype, they do not deserve it. So today, I'm exposing more cars that get way too much hype, don't deserve it. Your favorite car is about to get shut down by me. Let's get into it. Okay, we have a lineup of cars here. You guys can read the tiers. Okay? And if you can't, if you're like driving and listening to this podcast, too bad. Kicking it off, we have the R34 GTR. I had to start with this one because last video I talked about the A80 Supra, you know, the JDM Legend one. I thought people were going to get mad at me for being too harsh on it because I called it overpriced because it is. People actually got mad at me. The top comment, in fact, was telling me that I didn't go hard enough on it, that it's way too overpriced. And I thought about that. I agree. Like when you really think about it, these JDM Legend cars are getting vastly overhyped. You buy cars to drive them. At least that's what people should be doing. So if you're buying these JDM Legends just for the hype, I feel like you're almost trying to flex to like the 3 people that still care. The R34 GTR is a very cool car, but for what it's worth, my goodness. And for how much hype it gets, like, guys, stop, okay? Stop. These are going well into the hundreds, and it's like, bro, what are we doing? If you're so flushed with cash that you can just buy it for the sake of the nostalgia of the 2000s, make it a collector's car, fair enough. But most people, this is like their ultimate dream car for pretty much zero reason. So yeah, I learned from mistakes last time. This is going to overrated, not vastly overrated, because I do admit it's a cool car, but man, guys, calm down. It's not the be all end all. Next up, as you can see, we're on a train here with these overrated Japanese cars, the AE86. Now, I got popular off some anime to the best of my knowledge. I'm not an anime guy. I may sit inside and do absolutely nothing and socialize with no one, but that doesn't mean I'm an anime guy. I just make these tier lists instead. And yeah, it pretty much gets hyped for that. And it's also just it's considered a JDM classic. Back in the day, it was a cool car. It was cheap, and now it's inflated like crazy in price, and it's a tin can. It's a 5-speed tin can that goes absolutely nowhere. It's pretty much the same NA Miata effect that is pretty cool, but is still just complete plastic. I'm so sorry if you're a fan of the show. Again, if you're a collector and you're just saying, hey, I buy these cars to collect them, which is weird, but hey, fair enough. Sure. But if you actually think that this is a viable option for when you're dropping like 30 bands on a car, you're out of your mind. Shoot, man. Do I really want to end my career this quickly? Vastly overrated. Yes, I do. Next up, let's get it. We have the G and F generations of M3 and M4, okay? So the F80, the F87, the G80, and the G82. Now here's the deal with M cars. They're fantastic. No one's denying that. M cars are simply just amazing. They're so cool. But specifically the newer M cars have seemed to caught on with like the TikTok younger generation. Specifically, I feel like they're synonymous with the crowd of like internet money. Like, oh, I'm going to make it, never working a 9-to-5. When I finally do, I'm going to buy my G80. That's what I feel like this car has come to, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because these are really sick cars. Every single M generation car is cool. They never really missed, but it still doesn't change the fact that these cars have unfortunately been picked up by all these younger kids. I'm saying younger kids like I'm an old buck. I'm literally kids my age, and that's an issue because I think it dilutes the M brand. It dilutes what M cars stand for, which is just these pure, the best BMW can do, these pure driver's cars, and that sucks. And it's gotten to the point where if I see an F80 or a G80, it's a cool car, but like I don't know if it's an actual enthusiast or it's just some dude who bought it off the hype or parents gave him money or whatever, right? Even though regardless, it's a cool car. But when I see like an E92 generation or earlier, especially like an E46, let's say, I know it's an enthusiast. I know it's someone who truly appreciates the car for what it is, for how it's engineered. And also when you consider that pure driver's car, it's widely accepted that the E46 is kind of the best that M can be. The F80 and especially the G80 are a little watered down. Obviously, their modern cars are going to be like that, but it is something to consider. I'm never going to diss any M car, right? They're all, okay, for the most part, they're really good. but they are overrated, and there's no denying that. The C8 Corvette. Now, I have an inclination, like many people, to dislike a car that just gets way too hyped in the media. And initially, when this car launched, they were selling for insane numbers. They promised to be the $60,000 sports car, ended up being like 200 grand. But now they've come back down in price. And on the used market, you can get them in the 50s, which is still a little expensive considering it's a used Corvette. But you have to remember, these are insanely quick. They're mid-engine. They're kind of known as like a baby Ferrari, a baby American Ferrari. And they're really cool cars. And when you look at the 50 grand price range, now you're competing with like the A90 Supra. You're competing with Caymans. And that car, in a straight line, smokes them, right? Obviously, you could argue the other two are cooler and, more drivers' cars. But if you want the American option of those two cars, right, this is a perfectly viable option. I think the C8s are really cool cars, perhaps a little overpriced still. But honestly, like for their performance, I can't really put this anywhere else but accurately rated. I think they're pretty good cars. Next up, we got the Lexus LFA. Oh, don't touch the LFA. It's the best sounding car ever. Yep, cool. Sounds great. Yep, awesome. Best sounding car. It's overrated. Sorry. Next up, we have the whole brand of Land Rover. Vastly overrated. What are we doing? I think the luxury segment of cars as a whole, except for like Lexus and maybe Porsche, is for the most part a scam. Let's be real here, okay? It's for the most part a scam. And Range Rover, Land Rover is the pinnacle of that, bro. I don't know if they fix this in the brand new models, but some of the newer models have the screen responsiveness of like a Nokia. They're super unreliable. Everything breaks on them. They're British cars, okay? Despite what the British fanboys say, their British cars are like, for the most part, not good. And then like it gets to the point where it's like, who's buying these? I mean, actually, I know who's buying these. I'm going to put some examples on the screen right now. And I think I know why these are so hyped is because they were the SUVs before SUVs were massive. So they're kind of there. They secured that spot as like the luxury SUV brand. And then right after SUVs took off, so it's like they were there perfectly. But like, bro, come on. There's so many better ways to use your money. Like literally anything. Like name a way to spend money and it's a better use of money than a Land Rover. Dude, lighting money on fire is a better use of money than buying a Land Rover. Like, at least you're getting some entertainment with like throwing the money on the fire and seeing it burn. I don't know. These are terrible cars. Don't buy them. The Subaru WRXs, now they have a cult following, but these cars blow up. Could that be because of the people that buy them? Perhaps. It's a bit of both. The engines, the head gasket issues, and the owners that just boost and modify the living hell out of them. If they're really cheap cars that you can just pick up and tune and then, every day you just pray that they don't blow up, fair enough. But especially the older Bug-Eye, Hawkeye generations are getting way too expensive for clean examples, and it's like, what's the point? And then the newer gens, the VA WRXs, the newest WRXs, also have reliability issues. So many of them are built with CVT, so it's hard to find a manual one, which is insane for a rally car like this. And they just don't drive amazingly well unless you really appreciate the rally feel. I'm not going to put this quite overrated because honestly, a lot of people trash on them, but they still are incredibly overpriced, so that's where they belong. Next up, Tacomas and 4Runners. It doesn't matter which generation, doesn't matter if it's a Tacoma or a 4Runner, these are just so incredibly overpriced, okay? I get they run forever. I get that. But at some point when you're paying 20, 30 grand for some like kind of rusty, high mileage SUV that has like zero features, can barely get off the line at the stoplight because it's so slow, and drives like one of those side-by-sides, it's like, what do you got to ask yourself, what am I actually doing? Like, you got to zoom out, look at yourself in third person and be like, yo, what am I doing right now? This is just the epitome of overpriced. I do really get the appeal of just a truck or an SUV that never breaks, but it's overpriced. Let's be real. They're overpriced. Next up, we have just the entire modern Nissan brand. It will forever remain a mystery to me why Nissan is still seen as a viable brand in 2025. Like Range Rover, everyone knows that kind of breaks. So if you were to tell your average person, oh, I'm getting a Range Rover, even if they don't really know much about cars, they'd be like, but then when you tell someone you're getting a Nissan, it's like, good for you, Japanese car. No, they're trash. They're utter trash. Modern Nissan is pretty much just running off 5 things right now. 1, old brand recognition, back when they were good. 2, Japan. They're Japanese cars. Number 3, dealer incentives are insane on the dude. Like, ask your local Nissan dealer to take $5,000 off a Rogue. They'll like do it faster than you can even say the word the. Like, they are desperate. 4, hopes. And 5, dreams. Okay, those are the 5 things that brand is running off of. I think a lot of people have tapped into the fact that these just aren't good cars, but I think more people need to clue in for now. Overrated. Next up, we have another whole brand, modern Kia and Hyundai. Now, these cars are basically pitched as like, hey, we're still from Asia. We're still an Asian brand, but we're discounted from those, those overpriced Japanese people, and we give you more features. And that seems like an appealing sell, but the long-term reliability of these cars just isn't there. 15 years ago, Kia and Hyundai were just like crap box brands. Now they've changed their image, but they're still missing the key reliability. They have not dialed that in. There are huge issues with some of these cars, like right off the bat. Then you see all these reviewers are like, oh my goodness, this Kia is only 40K and has like a big moonroof, like hyping up the car. And it's like, whoa, not so fast. How about you put 40K on the car and then see where you're at? If your engine's still intact, fair enough, prove me wrong. But it's just sketchy with reliability for that reason, because of all the hype this gets. Overrated. All right, switching gears a bit, we got the Beamer i8. Now, when these dropped, these would have been the top of the list. Why? Because they're just super expensive and the performance wasn't there. But now I've talked about this way in an old video, and it's like now they've dropped in price so much. They've depreciated so hard, and now it's starting to look like a bit of an appealing deal. You have this butterfly doored, carbon chassis, kind of quick hybrid plug-in supercar, and it's like, yo, this is actually kind of sick now for the prices you can get these for. You can get these for under 40K. But they don't really get much hype anymore because, you know, people kind of caught on that there's better performing cars. And, like, for the price you can get them for, like, R8s were the competitor at the time. They did not drop nearly as much. Granted, they're way better cars. But these i8s are starting to seem pretty appealing if you can pay for the maintenance. So I'm going to balance it right out at a little overhyped. I think they're still a bit overhyped, but they're not that bad if you can afford the maintenance. Next up, we have Honda Civics in general. They are overpriced. I'm going to spoil it for you guys. They're overpriced. You know what? Let's just put them there. Are they fantastic cars, Honda Civics? Yes. That's why I'm not putting them any higher, but they're so overpriced. Let's talk about it, okay? Let's say you're looking at new Honda Civics. There's 3 levels. You have the base regular Honda Civics. You have the SIs, which is like the sporty versions. Then you have the Type R, which is like the full-on performance Honda Civic. The base models. If you're shopping for a new base Honda Civic, get a Mazda 3. Then if you're shopping for an SI Honda Civic, if you're really set on the 4 doors, then fine, but you should probably just get an 86. And finally, the Type R, they're so overpriced. Dude, you could get anything. You could get a Golf R and then spend 20 grand on mods. You could buy an A90 Supra, you could buy a Cayman, you could buy a C8 Corvette for the price of the Type R. So everywhere across the new lineup, they're super overpriced. Then even if you go used, like they hold their value, but disproportionate to other competitors that are perfectly fine. Corollas are cheaper. It's like, I don't know, these are just such expensive cars and they don't deserve it. I'm gonna be a buck. They don't really deserve it. There's always a better alternative, okay? Ask me in the comments. If you're thinking about buying a Honda Civic, tell me the generation, tell me the year. I will suggest you a better option for the money. Finally, I'm not talking about F-Series trucks again. I'm just talking about big trucks in general. Now, I've ranted before about how, you know, people are driving around big trucks for literally no reason. They don't use them, but I'm not here to talk about that, okay? Let's say either you just really want one or you're actually going to use it. They're still just so overpriced. Like a top-of-the-line F-150 Platinum goes for over 100. Like, in what world is that worth it? Okay, in what world is an F-150 a 6-figure car? And it's not even like some built-out, like, oh, it's a Shelby F-150. No, it's just like an off-the-lot, top-of-the-line, regular F-150. I just don't feel like it's worth 100 grand. Same story with Silverados, Sierras, Rams. These trucks are so expensive. Now, the issue is that there is really no replacing them. So it's just time to accept that this segment of cars is going to be expensive. But even then, I wish there's just a bigger surgence of like small, bare bones, stripped back trucks. Like we don't really have that anymore. Like the type of trucks where like, hey, you just need something that has the bed and that drives decently well and that will be reliable. We don't have that anymore. Unfortunately, trucks are just luxury items now, and they should be the opposite. They should be for the average working tradesman that actually needs them. They should be affordable, but they're not. Still, I get people need them. I get why people love them. I'm going to put them in a little overhyped. That was the list. I think we're going to stretch it if we go for a part 3, but hey, I'm always open to more parts. Thank you guys so much for the support. Let's push to that 20K. Let's push push it to 1 million. I'm making out the trap with these tier lists. Mark my words. Thank you for watching. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.